Hey y'all, I found another resource. I was looking through I when I'm working, I just save a bunch of things, save a bunch of tabs, and eventually I get through it. And so I figured, why don't I record myself getting through those things that I've saved and haven't gotten a chance to look at. So this is another resource, the Annie E. Casey Foundation. They do a lot of data collection on child well being. And so, as a school counselor and as somebody that works with kids, I think it's really important to keep in mind some of the other factors that can contribute to what the kids are acting like, or their behavior, basically. It can contribute to how they perform academically, socially. So, I think all of those things are important to kind of stay up on trends. This report is from 2020, so it's within the last 10 years, which usually is a reliable source. And this is a nonprofit, the Casey Foundation. So it's an independent resource. And I encourage you to look at all your resources. But let's take a look at one of the things that I found that was really important and stood out to me, and is something I think we forget about a lot. So, what I think is really important, and what I think sometimes as educators we forget, is how little income the poverty line is. Okay, so right here it says children living in high poverty areas is the percentage of children under the age of 18 who live in census tracts where the poverty rates of the total population are 30% or more. So 30% or more of the people in this area are within this rate. And in 2018, a family of 2 adults and 2 children lived in poverty if their annual income fell below $25,465. So that's a family of 4 living off $25,000 a year. And I live in Florida. Teachers make around, I think the base pay is $52,000 a year. So we know how little teachers make. And then if you're in a single parent household on top of this and you don't have a diploma, it can make things more difficult for you to build yourself out of that poverty. I think people have the ability to, if they have the tools and resources that they need, to get themselves out of that. And I think that's what a lot of these nonprofits provide. So this is another great resource that kind of explains how little money poverty is. And I think that's a really important thing to remember. So now that we understand kind of what they mean by poverty, this is what we want to look at. So I'm in Florida, so we're going to look at this line here. Can I zoom in here? How do I zoom in? Oh, yeah, baby. Oh, yeah, baby. Here you go. Here we are, Florida. Okay. That means, hold on, let's go back up so we can see. Boom. All right, children in single parent families. We're at 39%. Okay, so that's definitely going to have an impact on people's income. All right, so 40% of the children under 18. Okay, then we have, let's look at this one. This number here got me. This is how many kiddos that we have that are at that $25,000 a year in the 4-person household. Okay. We got 10% of our babies living in that lifestyle. Okay. 411,000 babies in Florida. And y'all want to argue about giving them food? Let me tell you something. They eat fresh fruit. Like, you should see the fresh fruit that they eat at the school. I've never seen kids eat fruit and vegetables like I have at school, because they can't get that at home. Because when you are living like this in this much poverty, you can't really afford to buy fresh fruit because it goes bad and it's a waste of money, right? You might not live in a place where you have a refrigerator where you can keep it. So a lot of the times they don't have access to it except for at school. And a lot of times they will try to take a bunch of apples or oranges with them so that they can feed their siblings. So I think it's important that we fund school lunches as much as possible. If you have anybody that's paying off school lunches in your area, please reach out to them, give them a little bit because they're doing good work. There is a lot of shaming at some schools. Everybody at my school gets free lunch and breakfast, so no, none of that over here. But there are still a lot of schools that have kiddos that are denied food at school or given a different option during lunch. And so it can be really embarrassing and disheartening, and it don't feel good. Okay, so let's be mindful of this when we're making judgments and we're demanding things of our kiddos. They're coming from a really difficult place. So we got to remember they're not just giving us a hard time, they're having a hard time. And be kind to yourself, kiss your brain. See you later.